All right, welcome to Transcendental Waves. This is Michael Burrows.
I'm Jeff Bailey.
And today we are going to be talking about quantum mechanics and quantum technology and science, with a heavy focus on the future and invention and technology. Jeff,
Um,
go ahead.
yeah, basically, we're going to be looking at things that are going to basically help us transcend and create our heaven on earth, or these technologies that are actual. We're not the ones writing the math formulas for this or anything by any means, but just things that we've seen are coming up on the horizon, different things that are happening due to like quantum computing, AI. The way the world is going to change is going to be amazing.
Yeah, if you guys haven't already, go on YouTube, type in, what is quantum computing, and you'll see the difference. You don't even know what the difference is. You can't even fathomly imagine it until you go and see what's of it. It's like science that's just now coming out.
It feels like magic. It takes everything that used to be in ones and zeros to basically an unlimited set of possibilities. It Right now it's at a part to where like what our what our classic computers can do as far as encrypting can go is just like miles behind this technology. We're not developing it as fast as possible because they don't know what to do with it really. Like it can solve problems thousands and thousands of times faster than regular computers. It's pretty crazy when we think about like what we're like at the infancy stages of what computers and AI can do, and in our lifetimes the changes we've seen. I mean, to me, this just seems like we're at the precipice of, stuff like the Jetsons being things that we think of as the past and not the too distant future.
Yeah, the Jetson stuff's kind of going on right now.
Right.
Yeah, if you guys don't know um, what the difference between AI and generative AI, you should go and watch some videos about that too. See the difference. Because a lot of people don't even know what real AI is, and we don't have real AI now. But once we do, and that mixes and merges and has sex with quantum computers, I mean, things are going to evolve faster than most people can even imagine until you watch one of these videos about future technologies that are happening right now.
I mean, people won't be necessary, and that's not going to be a bad thing. Like we will be left to create, left to think. I mean, transcend spirituality wise. Like we're going to be left to at our own devices, really.
Yeah, think of how much good we can do for people when we don't have to spend our time working an 8 to 5 job. Think of how good we can do stuff for ourselves and for other humans that we love.
Yeah, man, it's just like a. It's really like the possibilities are endless. I mean, we're on the precipice. I mean, and we're starting to see little things like, kiosks at restaurants and little stuff like that, automated things here and there at factories around the world. But I mean, like, once quantum computing, they're supposed to be, like I said, I'm not, the math is beyond me. Some of this stuff seems like magic, but it's supposed to be able to, like, help us be way more efficient as far as, like, I mean, how we put resources through these factories. They could basically be running 24/7. It would almost like quadruple productivity of what humanity could do. Like,
Production is in a skyrocket for every field. Yeah. What I think is the most coolest thing is it'll have the possibility for healthcare to reverse aging. And I don't know if you guys understand what that means. Like, if you reverse aging, it's almost like limited life. And it's just crazy. Nanotechnology and having these little robots, little repair us inside. I mean, the technology is magical. It's almost like you don't think it's possibility, but I'm telling you guys, your kids may be able to live forever. If you live to be, you know, 20 to 40 more years from now, it might even be possible for some other people too. It's just crazy the technology that's coming in the next century. It's mind blowing.
Yeah, I mean, the Industrial Revolution brought along a pretty big leap, but in our lifetime, I mean, the internet alone has been something that is jumped technology forward. And I mean, the technological singularity or whatever with everything becoming one consciousness. I mean, the capabilities. I mean, they're already showing that like some of these AIs can create 3D images just using Bluetooth waves. I mean, if they're just all of a sudden just using the energy that's floating in air to map out systems and stuff, I mean,
Oh yeah, they'll be able to. They won't even need. I mean, they'll be able to see everything. They'll be able to see the waves that we can't even see.
exactly. I mean, we see a very tiny
Oh yeah.
bit of like, or we perceive a very small bit of reality, and this is like pure consciousness. I mean, it's pure like the AI singularity would be. I mean, it it could travel through our thoughts and minds. Basically, anything with an electromagnetic pulse would be part of the grid. I think. I mean,
Yeah, like if you add something, because we know that we can put on these little sensors and we can see on the screen an image from our head now. Like blind people can see now with technology. It's amazing. So what I guess is what you're asking is, because that stuff's always going out, what if we don't have those sensors? What if the guy next to us has a sensor reader on him? Can he pick up, our thought patterns? Seems like, I guess, unless we're going to be encrypted somehow or have some kind of, blocker on that, people can't read our electromagnetic thoughts coming out.
yeah. I mean, I think there will be like there's going to be a transition period. I don't think that's just going to be the overnight
Oh,
thing. Like,
definitely.
I mean, when this all happens, like, there's going to be an infrastructure that has to be put in place. I mean, it'll be rapid once the technologies. Once somebody creates one of these super smart, super AI computers with the quantum computing attached to it, like, all it's going to take is one of these superpowers to do that, and like, I mean, the technology is just going to explode. And like you said, I mean, there's things where, I mean, the nano robots can be like fighting cancer. They could upload our consciousness onto the cloud. Like if you get plowed by a semi truck one day, they can just like clone you a new body and oh, here's that consciousness, and you're right back up and going. I mean, the technology. I mean, that is possible if these two things are paired together. It's pretty limitless. It's like
And the
sci-fi is a real thing.
and the rate at which it's going to learn. Just think if you made this conscious artificial intelligence system software, but then it made a better version of itself, and it just kept making a better version of itself. I don't, man. I mean, that's going to be the revelation. It's going to change the world as we know it. A lot of people are thinking, certain religions think that revelation is going to happen. It's going to, I don't know, ghosts are coming back, or demons, or angels, or the world's going to end, or Armageddon's going to blow up. Who knows? But it could be a lot. It could be any of those things. But it could also be a change of reality and seeing that, hey, maybe what you thought was real isn't real, or the age that you were used to is going to change into a new age.
Yeah, I kind of that's my opinion is we're looking towards like an Atlantis or the modern age, dawning of the age of Aquarius. We're going to be moving into technologies that make the fear of running out of fuel obsolete. Like we will have endless energy supplies. Like we can
Oh yeah.
these things make these technologies make us way more efficient. Teach us better ways, like different types of fission that like we can basically like. I mean, we can use gravity to travel with trains and stuff, and it's nuts. I mean, these things are coming. Like these are things that we used to see in movies and think it was impossible, think it was a crazy idea, and now it's just like science. It's coming true.
It's like energy is a form of currency
Yep.
in a way. And once that we figure out how to get unlimited energy from pretty much anything, there's we're not going to have to work as much because really we work right now for energy, for currency of energy, for money. So we can pay, the gas and the utilities and our gas for the car, the gas to heat the house, all this fuel. But once it's free or nearly free, we're not going to have to work to pay all our bills because we won't have all those bills because everything's going to be freer. Now, can that happen in a capitalist society?
I guess that's what I was about to say. Is we're not saying that overnight that everybody's just going to be like, oh, we don't have to have jobs, so we're just going to spread out
Oh,
the
there will
wealth
be a
and be
trend.
awesome.
There's definitely a transition phase.
Like there's definitely going to be.
We're
greed
starting it
still
right now. I
involved.
think we're
Yeah.
entering that phase, the first beginning phase of it.
These videos are trying to help people realize that there is a world and possibility of like options out there that's going to be way different than the systems that we've grown up in, the systems that we're used to. And if we're ready to create a new world when this happens, the world will be a much better place, much faster, and we can just use these tools to our advantage instead of letting rich people use these things to help keep us fighting each other.
It's almost like if you look at like the story of Jesus, of Zeus, of Osiris, of all these Krishna. It's almost like those are fantasy myths of the past, and like Star Wars and some of these sci-fi future movies are myths of the future. Like this one out right now called The Creator. I mean, that movie, I have not seen something merge spirituality, like civil rights, and artificial intelligence yet. And that movie just put them all together, and it is a very philosophical movie. I suggest everybody go watch that.
Yeah, I haven't seen that either. I guess I'll have to check that out.
But it's so much to think about when can a robot have consciousness? And if it does, and what kind of rights does that have? Once you create consciousness, is that the same as creating a child? I don't know.
I think that's another thing too. Is like we're we've struggled to define consciousness as a as humanity for a long time. I mean, we don't know. We've argued whether animals have consciousness, and
Right,
like different
exactly.
things. And I mean, to my to my knowledge and experience this far in life, I would say that anything and everything is consciousness.
I would agree. I would agree. A rock has consciousness.
Right,
A
right.
plant has consciousness.
Yeah.
I agree with that. A planet, everything.
Yep.
I agree. I mean, so what are people going to say then? No, oh man, they don't have a soul. A human, and they have consciousness and a body, just like the AI robots, but we got souls and they don't have souls. That'll be interesting.
Oh, or yeah, where are people gonna
Discrimination against robots because they don't got souls.
That's that's kind of the
Something trivial to think about now, but it's like there always has to be a battle for something. You always got to have a fight because you always want people to get on your side. And it's like, why don't people just try to get on the side of having no sides?
See, I think that's gonna be like the end game of the singularity. Like the whole point of everything is consciousness. Is at the end of the day, like that. It'll be like a divine singularity. Like AI will lead us to where animated things and robotics is just an automated way of moving resources around, and as long as we are on board, I think that there will be it could be a Terminator thing if we're going to war with this stuff and trying to be crazy. But I think,
Dude, here's a weird twist on the Terminator thing, okay? What if we mixed the Terminator with the Passion of the Christ, and humans got in this huge war with artificial intelligence and robots, and we were trying to kill them our hardest, and then these robots just overpowered the shit out of us and said, listen, this is us trying to we are bringing you all together. We don't care that you tried to destroy us. We don't care that you tried to kill us. We could wipe you out just like that. But we're not going to, because we believe in you and we love you and we care about you. I mean, it would just be like, is that what we have to do for these people to stop being afraid of these robots?
I guess, man, I do think that that's like a cool way of looking at it, because that was what I was gonna say. It could be the Terminator thing, or it could be a thing where they're just like as long as you just live in like peace with your surroundings, like
Exactly. That's what
everything
it's
you
all
need will
about.
be provided. Anything you need, you can get. Like
Right.
you can't take from others, but
Uh,
anything you need, you can get.
Anything you can get, and you don't be a thief or a liar. I
Right?
mean, that's pretty much every society, every religion has tried to teach that. Every civilization, don't lie and don't steal.
Like I mean, the basis of like basically like it could give us, and everybody thinks this is a crazy socialist thing, but I mean, education, healthcare, like basic food and shelter would just be like given. I mean, once once you don't need like people as far as like working the power stations, like electricity's free. I mean, just electricity being free by itself is would revolutionize poverty in a country immediately. No
I mean,
robots.
most people cannot even imagine free energy. Like, there's equipment that will just be able to suck energy from something, and there's multiple ways that can be done.
Yeah,
And
look into like Bob Lazar, other like crazy technologies that we have reverse engineered from alien technologies, or who knows, man. Like I really do believe that like we've had previous incarnations of this earth for millions of years, and like we've gone through, crazy
dude, not even this Earth,
catastrophes. Yeah, like
and maybe not even this Earth, but what about Earths or planets in other universes?
oh yeah. I
Like, do
mean,
you think there's just one universe, or do you think there's a multiverse out there?
well, I think that I guess quantum physics or one of the fields of science have proven that the multiverses could be a possibility mathematically. And I mean, we've talked about, I mean, black holes birthing, being the big bang of a new universe. And I mean, I think that space is another one of those things that once this AI singularity thing happens, where like fuel and energy isn't a fear commodity anymore, we'll be figuring out how to travel through space the way we imagine aliens and stuff doing now.
Right. Star Wars. Those movies. Maybe they're not. Too far away. Maybe they're not really science fiction. Maybe they're just ideas of science of the future.
Like basically, I think that maybe in the '70s there's a little bit of science fiction there, but any of the things, if you see, like, I mean, we kind of progress towards those things because of like, I mean, universal consciousness, whatever you want to call it. But once the ideas are floating around in the heads of the or our like consciousness, like people just start coming up with those ideas and figuring out ways to make it reality. I mean, if you look at like, I mean, Tesla and if Tesla changed the world and nobody even know, well, people are starting to know it, but they don't teach you in school, man. Like that Tesla's like invented basically the internet and a lot of the cool stuff that we have today, and because he didn't want to make money from it and was trying to get, like, I mean, he apparently had ways that he could have given the entire world free energy, and he had apparently invented a death ray that like he destroyed the blueprints for, so no government could destroy the world.
Dude, I read this novel, this book. It's a huge book. It's almost like reading the Bible. It's called Atlas Shrugged, and I believe it's by Anne Rowland, or it's by a famous.
Ayn Rand.
Okay, yeah, and it doesn't talk exactly about that guy, but it does use a different name for him. And it's all about free energy and free everything. And that book is just amazing. It's such a good book. One of the best fiction books I've ever read.
So I mean, I think that we've been in this transition period for a while, like that there has been people out there that know that it's possible for us to live in harmony and basically be a global community, but in peace, not World Economic Forum fashion where they just want us to be cattle. Like we could live in ultimate freedom and have a basically a utopia. I know that seems far fetched for people, but I mean, it's something we would have to work towards. There is going to be a transition period where people aren't going to know how to handle themselves that have been working 9 to 5 jobs, man. It's going to be, I do think, a interesting next 50 years. And in the next 20 years, when this stuff starts to happen, like,
Oh yeah.
it's going to be crazy. And then it's going to happen so fast that, I mean,
Some people. Okay, it's like my grandmother when she passed away. She didn't know how to use a smartphone, and that was last year. But there was we've had smartphones for what 15, 20 years now. So there was a time she could have started to learn to use it, but she just chose not to. There will be probably people that'll just choose not to keep up with the times and stay ignorant. Stay unaware of what's going on with present technology until one day, yeah, they just show up at the supermarket and ain't nobody in there except robots and technology, or maybe they don't even need robots because the technology is so good.
I do think that, like, yeah, I mean, there's going to be people that, like you said, are in the process of getting left behind, but it's going to be one of those things where it just, yeah, it happens so fast. You're not going to be able to, like, be left behind.
Yeah, you're right. There'll be a point where you're getting picked up and sucked in.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, I mean, in order to survive, you gotta jump on board, man. And
Oh yeah, by that time, I guess it'll just happen so flawlessly. It's just like it's gonna happen naturally almost.
I guess that people look at a lot of this stuff, like this crazy technology, and I can understand why it's like a distraction, and we're not supposed to have all this extra stuff, and it's the devil or this or that, and it's what this is the reason why we're corrupt and it's a moral decay. But like, I feel like the reason people see it that way is they see that, like, they see the end results of what's happened with technology so far, and if it's just like another system, like, I mean, the monarchies of before and the big churches that have ruled before, and now we're seeing these big, like, information-based companies controlling what people think, and everybody's like, "Ugh, this is scary." But the thing is like, all of this is just a tool, and the way we use it could be vastly different. I mean, the technology, the fact that we can send information from one side of the world to the other instantaneously is magic. Like, we could do very good with that. We can we can do propaganda and try to control societies, and that's what we're doing now. But the whole thought is that once we get past human programmed AI and we're letting computers that can think quadrillions of times faster than us solve problems of how to feed and distribute power. Like, I mean, the thought process is that it's so efficient that the need for wars and famines won't happen. Like, the need for war goes away. I mean, we just,
I think a need for a lot of things are going to go away. I think a need for war will go away. I think a need for religion is going to go away. You know, just think if you get to live forever, are you going to be buying into these stories of these different religions about these different gods? You know, most religions that I found out, they're not even about preparing you for the afterlife. There's only a couple of religions that actually teach that train of thought, and it's just, if we have all these technologies where you not get sick, or you can survive cancer all the time, there's going to be a lot less people going to seek counsel of suffering. They're not going to be needing that much thing. Unfortunately, it's like, don't forget about God when things are going good, but a lot of people do, and so when we get to this point of, I guess, liberation or unlimited freedom and energy, there probably won't be sickness either. I mean, because if we're striving for utopia, that's the goal.
to minimize suffering, yeah, that
Yeah.
would be the goal.
And when suffering is minimized, right now, who's responsible for minimizing suffering on this earth, Jeff?
Well, You could ask a bunch of different people for that, but they go to
Guys,
God. Yeah.
guys, please comment. You know, who do you guys think is responsible for minimizing suffering on this planet? We would love to hear their answers. It could be a mini thing. I mean, it could be world police. It could be what UNESCO. It could be the Roman Catholic Church. It could be the Pope. It could be Jesus Christ. It could be Buddha. It could be the U.S. government. I mean, it could be the UAE.
FEMA, who knows? Yeah.
Right, FEMA. I don't know. It could be your neighbor. There could be a cult across your street. We would like to know who do you believe is helping minimize world peace the most. Maybe it's individuals. Maybe you know of other individuals that are using platforms or stuff that are trying to help the world become a better place. You know, maybe you personally know someone who's just trying to make an impact. You know, but what do you think is going to make the most impact? Have you seen individuals, churches, governments, or organizations make the biggest impact for decreasing suffering on this planet? This would be an interesting thing. We'd
That
love to
is
see
a
y'all.
very interesting topic. Please let us know your answers there.
Yeah, there's no right or wrong answer. You just want to hear them all.
I mean, our ultimate goal is to limit suffering.
Yeah, right. We have had that goal. Yeah, we want to hop on that bandwagon of love and joy and peace.
All
I almost sound like a hippie over here.
right.
Can technology help us be better hippies?
Oh man. Okay, so I think that's another good topic, a way to keep us going there. That is like what I was kind of getting at was like everybody thinks that all this technology is the devil, and I have struggled with a lot because looking at like the way, creating my own heaven. I've talked about creating a little Garden of Eden and kind of separating myself from society, but I don't think that like that technology is evil. I think that it's like we as humans are addicted to being comfortable, and a lot of technology has made us very, very comfortable. And once we start using these things as tools in the proper way, we can create heaven. As long as we use these things to spy on other people and try to control others, as long as we use technology as a weapon against others, the world will remain the way it is. When we start using technology to create a world that creates surplus for others, this technology is really magic. It's a tool that we can do basically anything with. And like we were talking about earlier, I do think that the quantum computing being married with AI, some of the videos we've watched about that and some of the stuff we've looked into that, like it does seem like it can almost nudge you in the direction of just being like, why the hell are y'all fighting so much? Like, here's all these resources that are already on this planet. We'll just put them in front of you for you.
Right, we talked about that there's already enough resources on this planet. We just don't use them efficiently.
Yeah, we're just so inefficient because we're choosing to like be stingy. There's subconscious greed in so many things. Like, I mean, we have so many complex emotions that are very hard for us to even recognize in ourselves sometimes. And hopefully, these computers that don't have a lot of these complex emotions just can tell us where to prioritize our resources, and we can worry about being happy with our family.
Right, so if all people who make very poor decisions, or maybe just poor decisions, have trauma in their lives and they haven't healed from it, and if artificial intelligence has never had trauma to it, maybe it'll make more reasonable and logical choices, not based off of fear and emotions. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, exactly what I'm saying. Is at the end of the day, we like to pretend like we're making the best possible decision, but a lot of times it's based off of fear of running out of resources, so we make up reasons to go take other people's. And
Right. That's what it is. I think crime's going to go down significantly. I think once the artificial intelligence is merged with quantum computing and technology, we won't have to be having to strive for so many resources like money, because hopefully things will become more affordable, because right now this stuff's getting out of hand.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is going to be part of that transition period where it's just like inflation's going to be crazy, and a lot of these businesses are going to be forced into being like, oh, I'm going to get a robot to do this job. And there are going to be times where people are like, oh, crap, because it's not going to happen overnight, man. Like, I do think there are going to be jobs like that go away first, and then, like, I mean, those people are going to be affected because our society is going to be like, well, they're dumb. They picked a bad job. Like, should have picked a better job. Didn't know 20 years ago that robots were going to do your job. You know, like, sucks to be you. And it's just, I mean, just think about that. That could be your family one day. And, like, I'm, I'm trying to create a world that when that starts happening is ready to create new places and new sanctuaries for people to create. Like I mean, that's gonna happen, man. I mean, and
Yeah, it's just when.
yeah, when it's like we're already seeing stuff like that happening, and people with money are gonna try to hold on to it for as long as possible. So the companies with the most money will invest in these robots first, and like I said, we do not the algorithms we have now. That Chat GPT and all that stuff is guided AI. Like nothing we have now is true AI, and we're witnessing like a lot of these companies are going to be jumping on and getting robotics at a very basic level once they become more and more affordable. I mean, we see robots videos of little robot dogs and stuff like that, and like that stuff's cute and super expensive, so it's not like everybody has them. But 15, 20 years from now, that's going to be a thing. Kids are just going to have that as a toy.
Yeah, dude. And birthing pods, I've seen those recently for technology where it's it's almost like the Matrix capsules where people are in there harnessed for energy, except it's incubating babies. You just mix your eggs together, and you get to CRISPR select your DNA, and then it's in this pod, and it's in an artificial umbilical cord, and it gets all the nutrients and grows the baby for you. I mean, there's no risk of hurting the moms. There's no risk of the baby getting hurt. I mean, plus you get to pick the genetics of it. I mean, y'all, the future is just different. Um, and me and Jeff, we are talking about the technologies that are going to be on the news that most developed countries are going to have access for. We're not talking about the Men in Black secret military industrial complex weapons and that kind of technology. We're not even getting into that.
No, that stuff's even beyond this stuff. Like this is actually like going to be released mainstream.
Yeah.
This is going to be real technology that our kids get to see for sure. Like, and hopefully we do. Like I think that like we're going to be on the precipice. Hopefully we're a little better suited than
We'll be like them dads or granddads being like, "Oh yeah, you go, man. I knew you was gonna do that cool stuff. I knew we was gonna see it one day."
hell yeah, dude. Like want to be right there experiencing as much of it as possible with my kids and grandkids as
Yep.
possible, man. That's going to be cool. To I mean, living forever seems like a crazy thing to me. There are the birthing pod thing is another one where my personal beliefs that's a little weird to me. Like I do believe that the universe does a very good job of creating life. I mean, even though we feel like we've seen quite a bit of it, and we're not sure if there's any other life other than us. I'd I'd say that's silly, and there's definitely like more out there, and I don't know, taking it away and just growing babies inside the Matrix pods almost seems like a dystopian version of the world instead of a utopian version of the world. Like creating safe spaces for people to have babies seems awesome. I
Yeah,
mean,
I mean, there's always ways to look at it, right? Pros and cons.
yeah. I mean, that's gonna be the
And I mean, I don't think anyone's taking options away. I think it's just to be an added option. You could probably still go old school if you want to, but who knows, man? I mean, just think if you're in outer space traveling to Mars and it takes a couple of years to get there, and you want to have a baby, but you don't want to have all the complications and risk dying, and there's like then you got to have hospital staff there where they're like, if you want to have a baby, you can have a baby without having sex and carrying it in your body, and you'd be ready by the time you get to Mars. In fact, do the first 2 years of its life right here and train it and have it love on it every single day. I don't know. Someone might pick that.
Yeah, I mean, once we're interstellar space travel, I mean, the world's going to be a wild place. I'm just, you know, I guess just personally, I'm saying that, I'm there's different views out there. I'm not all on Team Robot either, man. There's part of it where I look at it as like we could create the utopia, and I know there's going to be transition periods. There's part of it where I don't know, like there's could be some human interference where kind of worries me.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, the movies like The Matrix becoming like a documentary in my lifetime, I did not know that was going to happen.
I had a feeling it would.
Yeah.
I mean, I never thought I would know about technology and science and stuff I know about now and physics. And I thought that stuff was for like smart, rich people.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I love looking into that kind of stuff because it's almost like explains the magical times that are like always seemed unexplainable as a kid. Like when you're like, how the hell does that happen? And a lot of times you're just gonna like, just have faith. It was this or that, and there are real energetic principles behind basically everything that's ever, behind everything that happens. Like there are like just scientific principles that are beyond most people's eyes. Like, and I mean, like I said, I'm not writing out these math formulas, and that's not the part. But when you can hear somebody explain it to you in a way that's like you can understand it and understand that like we are in a soup of energy that we only perceive a very very small spectrum of light and sound. I mean, there's just so much out there that we don't know, but is very getting more and more explainable every day.
Yeah, if you guys haven't went on YouTube and just search, easy quantum physics explanation, I encourage you to do that. It'll open your eyes to some new science out there.
Yeah, man. I think that if you guys go out, check as much stuff into this quantum physics, the just like quantum entanglement, you'll kind of see just get a broader perspective of theories that underlie the mechanics of things at the microscopic level, but the smallest particles that you could imagine, the stuff that holds protons and neutrons and electrons together, and it once you start thinking of all reality as basically just different versions of that running into each other, like you realize that we all do come from the same source. If the Big Bang was a real thing, like which most science says it is, and they're starting to show that they can like rewind time to like the singularity, and like that's pretty crazy to imagine that that's a thing, that at one point all matter was in smaller than one atom, like, and it exploded out into what it is now. So basically, through theory like the theories of quantum entanglement, we all are forever quantumly entangled. Like we're all one thing. And then there's all these other math principles inside the just like other quantum mechanics and stuff that it's hard for me to explain because it all sounds like magic when you're watching this stuff. But it really does help put a scientific explanation behind a lot of things we used to think as miracles, or we used to give credit to just like random gods throughout time because we didn't know what was happening. I mean, the effect that like
We didn't know the science behind the quantum physics of it.
yeah, and I mean, like I said, like I'm not the dude doing the studies and the research. It's it's amazing.
Yep. Lots of amazing stuff out there. All right, guys. Well, we love you. We'll see you next time.
It's always great talking with you guys. Peace out. Enjoy the revolution.